and welcome to a lesson on bending. I'm Brett Papa, and today we're going to go over kind of, the concepts of bending, different kinds of licks, but it is without a doubt one of the, sorry, I may have some apple chunks in my teeth. It is one of the best ways to add feel regardless of your technical ability. Now, it's not easy, but it may be a lot easier than trying to just rip through, 16th notes at 132 beats a minute. That's really hard. But bending, you can do it kind of almost regardless of skill level, and it's one of the best ways to connect with an audience, right? I mean, it definitely mimics the voice more than anything on guitar. So that's one of the secrets to just awesome emotional solos. I mean, what would Hendrix be, or Stevie Ray Vaughan, or Van Halen for that matter? Where would they be without the killer bends in their solos? Okay, so let's just take, D minor pentatonic because it's in a nice little area. Okay, so one of the first things you want to think about is how to bend. What's the best way? You want to leave yourself room to be able to move and be fluid, because fluid bends, whether your bends are fast and your vibrato is fast or really smooth, right? Maybe wide but just slow. You got to give yourself some room to move. So that's why I like doing the kind of the pivot point thing. I do not use my fingers like this at all. When I bend, my fingers are stiff. They are not moving whatsoever, and it's all generated by a rocking of the wrist. Now, one thing that helps you do that is to make sure that your palm is not up against the bottom of the fretboard. That will give you no room to go. This whole technique is dependent on you dropping your hand down like this, right? So I would have this much room. See all this room in between my fretboard and my palm? If I put my fingers where I'm going to bend, I still have that much room. My fingers are rounded, but I still have a lot. I mean, I can do that much movement before I encounter resistance from the fretboard, right? So, hinging and rocking of the wrist, using your forearm, the muscle of your forearm is a lot easier than trying to use the muscles in your fingers. And, it's just way easier. Okay, so try that first of all. Now, bending, right? If you don't know, if you're new to bending, there's different kinds of bends. There's a whole step bend, which is 2 frets. So you're bending this note to sound like, right? There's a half step bend, which is just 1 fret. Right? And then there's quarter note bends, which are more like what you might hear in a lot of blues stuff, where it's like, it doesn't make a whole jump in pitch. It doesn't make a difference between here and here. It's right in between. Some people call them semitones, right? Or quarter note bends. But that's a huge way to do it. If you don't have a lot of strength right now, just simple things like in the pentatonic scale. Is huge, right? So it's just taking this one note that you may just bending it up just a little bit. And then adding vibrato. You don't have to bend to vibrato. Now, vibrato is actually interesting because when it's on a stationary note, you're actually going past the pitch, which you don't want to do when you're bending a note up like that. You don't want to go. Sounds like a drunken cat fight. Or, the only other thing closer to a drunken cat fight is like when somebody's learning violin and it's like all, and you're just like, wow, that's what overbending sounds like, okay? So when you want to bend a note and add vibrato, you get to pitch and then lower it and then back up to pitch. I'm hypnotizing you. But, right, so when you speed that up, that's kind of naturally what you'll hear in rock solos or, any kind of bending, right? Whether there's blues or whatever. But the stationary is bending out of pitch. right? But you do it quick. And you don't really notice it because you're always returning back to pitch. It's not as dramatic. The ear's more used to hearing you do something like, right? Because you can just go, and it doesn't sound bad. So it's weird that when you overbend, that wouldn't sound okay either, but it doesn't. Okay, so vibrato's the same kind of thing. A lot of people pull down. A lot of people go up. I kind of have the general rule, if it's these higher strings, right? The E, the B, the G, I'll go this way. I mean, you can't go this way on the E or you'll go off the fretboard, but it's creepy. Right? Those are the kind of movements I'll make. And then on the lower strings, you're pulling down. Okay, so that's kind of the mechanics of bending. Some different ideas with bending are, a lot of people when they just start will do something like that. That's fine. But if you're working on your bending anyways, you might as well work on sounding, you know, more legit, right? More seasoned. So think about how long it takes you to get to a bend. There's different speeds at which you can get to the bent note. So you can go, you can go quick. If you don't know that lick, it's just bending up the 12th fret G. And then you go 10, 13, and you're cycling that lick over. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Now, that same kind of lick, if it was just, think about, you know, bending one of the notes slowly. Down, and then back up to pitch with vibrato. Right? I love that, doing that. So a lot of times people will land on. But another trick you can do is you're bending here. And then bend this note to here. Instead of just landing here, go. Super cool. Super sick Van Halen move. Love. He's like one of my favorite people with vibrato. Him and like the guy from Rat, Warren DeMartini. Just. But listen to guys like that, or David Gilmour, or Neil Sean of Journey, the guy from Toto. There's tons of great people with vibrato. I mean, people always will chime in a bunch of other players. Those are the guys that just come off the top of my head. Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Angus has a good but very quick vibrato. Just different. There's different flavors, right? Different people do different things. So where Angus might be, his bands are quick and just really aggressive, fast vibrato. Where a solo I was learning today from Van Halen right now, total opposite, right? Where it might be really slow, like kind of soupy vibrato, right? So that's another style. Another one of my favorite ones is do the reverse bend. So you actually bend up, right? So you get to the note first and then pick it and go down. So, right, that's if we put two together. So reverse. And then I do a stack, so it's 12D, G, and then you can go down the scale like. So you're just doing those quarter note bends, right? So, right, versus going. Listen to the difference. Right, or. Right, or. Right, or just. Right, sounds fine. But with the. right? I'm going up, down, and back up to pitch. So if you can't move around that much, it doesn't have to be dramatic. You know, you could just be like, and then use the vibrato instead of going, right? Just, I mean, if you notice, I'm not even bending to, you know, a half step. But that's legit. So I'm bending up 12, and then I go 10, 10, and then I slide from 12 to, or 13 to 15, and then use vibrato when you get there. You can do the same thing to the up here. Right, so if you can't bend very well, that's way more feel than, right? So it's just little things like that, and it's gonna add so much feel. So remember, there's just right up to the pitch with vibrato, then like get to pitch, drop a little bit, then add vibrato, or wait a little bit. That's the Gilmore. He'll get to the pitch and then add the vibrato later, right? Then you can go up, down, up, vibrato, reverse, right? You combine two, reverse. And then the quarter note bends. Practice the bends as much as you practice getting fast, right? If you're one of those people like I myself was obsessed with becoming fast at guitar, like just, I probably drove my neighbors freaking crazy. But I wish I would have spent as much time in the beginning on bending, feel, and vibrato. Those are huge in your playing, and it forces you to slow down in a good way, right? People are never gonna be like, oh, dude, that guy's, you know, his bends, they were so good, but I just don't, it just didn't do anything for me. That's rarely gonna happen. Now, what happens a lot is, yeah, that guy was really good, he was really fast, but man, I don't know. After I heard that for like 5 minutes, I'm done, I'm out, right? But the soulful, the bends, all those, the girls, the guys, everybody likes that because, again, it's like the voice, right? So as much feel, as much bending, all that kind of stuff as you can throw into your solos and make it tasteful, you're going to sound way more legit, and people will respond to it. I mean, even just yourself, right? If you're not playing for anybody, it'll just end up sounding better. So there's nothing wrong with fast technique. All for it. I've been blown away by many guys with fast technique. But the ones that we remember that are fast and technically very good have both, right? And they don't overuse their speed, and they always have soulful, tasteful bending. All right, that's what I have to say today. I hope you like it. If you did, hit the like button. Also, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Don't be afraid to subscribe. There's tons of different kinds of videos, so check those out on the channel. And if you want a deeper dive into how to play guitar, there's tons of stuff at brettpapa.com. Always check the links below. There's tons of free stuff on there that is not on YouTube. There's a 3-part soloing series, so if you want to learn how to hit the right notes, there's a major and a minor version, so check those out as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.